privilege to introduce Jodi Taylor, who is our best-selling author internationally, and I'm Hazel Cushion. I'm the Managing Director and Founder of Accent Press, and also the mad person that set up this bookshop, cafe and wine bar. We've been working together for about 3 years now.
We have, yes.
Haven't we?
We have.
So my first question, how did you get published?
I published myself initially. I tried to get a literary agent. I tried to pursue the traditional route and I wasn't getting anywhere. So I went and had lunch in the fish market in Fethiye in Turkey, as you do. And I was plied with wine, quite a lot of wine actually. And my friends told me the story of their daughter who had written a book and had published herself on Smashwords and Amazon, and it was doing really well. I drank some more wine, apparently, and agreed to give it a go. So I published myself initially, and it was rather successful. It's a sad story of alcohol and accident, actually, because I hadn't got a clue what I was doing in any way at all. And the book did rather well, and I managed not to notice that it had actually gone to almost the top of the Amazon free charts.
She didn't mean it to be free, but she just didn't know how to set it up to be free.
Yeah, I was kind of going to skip over that.
I know, but it's the funny bit.
Yeah. I actually wrote to Amazon because I would check my page every day, just like a real author does, to see what was happening. And I noticed that I got all these reviews. There was 50, 60, 70, 80, they just kept going up. But according to the spreadsheet that Amazon sends you when you're a self-published author, I'd sold 7 copies, which was my mum, my dad. And I couldn't understand, and all these reviews actually said Amazon verified purchase, and it seemed to me pretty obvious that I got somebody else's reviews. And I thought ages, and then in the end I emailed Amazon to own up and explain the problem. And about an hour later they came back, and you could hear them rolling their eyes. And they said, yes, we've made it free because it was free elsewhere. And have you not noticed it's doing rather well? Yes, you sold 7 paid copies, but if you scroll across the spreadsheet, which I hadn't thought to do because I'm really not bright, you'll find that you've actually sold thousands and thousands and thousands of copies, and I had to go and have a serious lie down actually. I mean, I've had lie downs, but this was a major lie down.
I contacted you via email, didn't I?
You did, yes.
Through your website. It's not that daft, she had a website and she had an email and said, would you like a publishing contract? And that's how we started working together.
It is, yes.
And it was fantastic because, you know, we already had an author that had a huge fan base. The last 3 years, we've now published 9 books.
10 if you count the Regency.
10 including the Regency, plus all the short stories. You are quite unusual as an author like that, in as much as most authors, well, she's very unusual in lots of ways, but most authors have a specific genre that they write in. But Jodi seems to be able to write in lots of different genres. Having produced these amazing time travel science fiction books, she then promptly said, now I've got a Regency romance I'd like you to publish. So from the publishing point of view, that kind of makes us go, how do we do that? Because we know how to market you to that audience, but it's very difficult for them to be in cross genres. So where do you get your ideas from, all these different books?
I don't know actually, inside my head. Mostly, I hear something and it triggers a train of thought. I see something on the television that makes me go off and research something. I don't know, it just happens all the time. I suffer, if anything, from too many ideas. I have folders and files and scrapbooks and scribbles and notebooks. And I have an idea and I just scribble it down and I'll use it sometime. I really don't know, it just happens. It's very worrying actually.
And the first book, what made you start that one? What made you actually put pen to paper?
The story had been in my head for quite some time, but the physical moment I did it, I was painting a wall in Harrogate again, as you do. And it just got too much. I put down the paintbrush and I walked down to the co-op and I bought some recycled notebooks and 3 blue pens and came back and started to write. And then I really got it wrong, because I picked up the paintbrush and started to paint again. And half the staircase is done in vinyl matte and the other half is done in vinyl silk, and it really, really shows. You can really see the join. So when I sold the house, I had to kind of stand like this in front of the join so that people couldn't see what was going on. So don't write and paint, one or the other.
What's your writing day like? Do you have regular hours, or do you tell us about that?
It's a bit surprising really, because I am crap in the mornings. I'm famed for it. At work, nobody would come near me until I'd had at least 2 cups of tea. And I really do not function well in the morning. I can't find my outlying areas. I've no idea where my feet are, my hands are. It's just dreadful. But that's the time when I write best. And I've discovered that, this sounds terrible, the best thing to do is not get up, but have a cup of tea, and I stay in bed and write until about 11 o'clock, when hunger drives me from my bed and I have to get up and have something to eat. So that's the main thrust. I write for about 6 hours. I start about 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning and just write. Then I have lunch and watch lots of television for 2 or 3 hours. I'm sorry, but I do. And then I have something to eat again, because I'm hungry again. And then in the evening, I normally sit with a pad on my lap and just doodle and scribble. So it's all pretty aimless, really.
Do you type or do you write in longhand?
Both.
Yeah?
Yeah, both. I used to write everything longhand and then type it up afterwards, because it's a great way to edit at the same time. But now sometimes I'm seized with impatience, so both. It depends. If I'm near my laptop, I type. If I'm near a notebook, I'll write. I have a notebook in every room in the house.
Fantastic.
This is all signs, I'm sure, of some major personality disorder. I'm not sure I should be saying any of this.
and don't cheat. And do you enjoy it? Is it fun?
Yes. Yeah, you have to, actually. I think if any writer here will know, if you don't enjoy it, it shows in your writing. You have to enjoy it. But I don't enjoy all of it. When I start to write a book, from 0 to 30,000 words, I started a new book. It's great. It's going to be fantastic. I'm going to be the next best thing in the literary world, and it's great. And then from 30 to 60,000 words, it's rubbish. There's not enough plot. The characters are wrong. Nobody's going to buy this, nobody's going to read it, it's going to be terrible, I might as well go off and shoot myself now. And then, if I survive that long, from 60,000 to 90,000, it's coming together. I've got most of it done, I've pulled it together, the framework's working, it's getting better. I'm moderately optimistic. And then from 90,000 onwards, which is something I've got to talk to you about later on. From 90,000 onwards, I'm panicking because it's too long and they won't be happy and I've got to lose words. And so, yeah, I do, but it depends which stage I'm at.
What do you do when you can't work?
There are days when I really don't want to work. Sorry about that, but there are. And days when it just doesn't happen at all with all the will in the world. But I always try and do something to push the book on. So I'll do some research, or if that doesn't work, I'll tidy my notes. I'll tidy my desk.
I thought you wrote in bed.
I have a desk.
I've always imagined you propped up in bed.
Well, yes, but I have a desk because I read somewhere that real authors have desks, so I bought a desk.
Somewhere to put your margaritas, haven't you?
Yes.
Are you going to be writing St Mary's forever?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
This is the person who, when we first signed her, I said, right, we'd like to do a 3-book deal. And she'd go, oh, 3? Oh, I'm not sure I can commit to 3. And then when we got to 6 books, oh God, 6? You want 6? And then when we went out for dinner last night, it's...
Oh God, I had wine, didn't I? Oh God, did I sign anything?
Actually, do you know what? I think there's going to have to be a 10 and an 11. So
Yes.
Please.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
I have plans.
Yes.
there's plans for spin-off. Would you like to talk about that?
Yes, it's still kind of fermenting, you know, like old cider. But I have got an idea to approach things from a different point of view. And I'm rather thinking of writing a time police story in which we would see St Mary's from the other side.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. You know, what a bunch of nuisances they are. I've made a start, actually. I've tried something new. Can I tell them about the Christmas story?
Yes.
The Christmas story will be narrated by Mr. Markham. We will be seeing the history department from his point of view, and will also involve Major Guthrie's 6-point plan for a successful assignment, most of which involves keeping an eye on the redhead. But the proceeds for this one will go towards Help for Heroes, so I should be bashing that out on my Facebook and appealing for everybody to buy a copy later on. And I'm going to try and get the American publishers involved as well, and theirs can go towards the Wounded Warrior Project in America, which is something quite similar.
Have you any particular advice that you'd like to give new writers, apart from make your book free?
Okay, a bit of light-hearted advice. If you're going to write under a pen name, Google it first, because otherwise you end up with the same name as the famous American porn star who did the thing with the chicken leg. And then when your mother invites all her friends round to boast about her daughter, the writer, and brings up Jodi Taylor's website, she doesn't get the right one. I was 2,000 miles away. This turned out to be my fault, isn't it? To me. Nobody was happy that afternoon, trust me. So, for heaven's sake, Google your pen name first. What I would say is write your book. Just knuckle down and write your book. I've had several queries. I'm now in the happy position where people write to me for advice, can you believe? And one or two of them have said, I have the first 3 chapters completed of my book. Should I start sending it out now to agents? And the answer is no, write your book first, knuckle down and write it. Don't tie yourself down to the traditional route of literary agents. Yes, it's a great route to go down, but you can do it yourself these days. So have a look round at all the options available. Octavo was not going when I initially self-published, and I threw my book out there with knowing nothing. Never even entered my head. Distribution, advertising, social media, these were words that meant nothing to me. There are organisations now like Octavo that exist to help you get your book out there if you want to do it yourself.
Are Leon and Max ever going to be happy together, live happily ever after? Are they going to drift off into the sunset hand in hand at the end of the final book?
Would you like them to?
Actually, I would. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a...
So, does everybody want an
old
ultimate
softie.
happy ending?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
About 15 books down the road.
Yeah.
Do deadlines make you nervous?
Yes. Yes, they do. They terrify me.
And so does signing contracts.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, I'll give you the book. Why do we have to do the contract thing? As soon as I get a deadline, I start thinking about the deadline instead of the book. And also, instead of being... I get this urge to finish it then as quickly as possible. It's like a race. I do understand the importance of schedules, but it's, oh my God, they want it by March 2017. Oh my God, oh my God. Suppose I can't think of anything. Suppose I can't finish it. Suppose I fall off the house. Suppose I get run over. Suppose there's an earthquake. It just...
I've got a time map. So, you know, like when she goes back, then she can't visit the same place and time again. So have you got a time map to keep you, knowing what's going to happen to her?
I will certainly call it a time map because that sounds so much better than a scrap of paper blue tacked with details and dates and things which I have to check to make sure that she's not going back to the same place twice. It wasn't a problem in the first 2 or 3 books, but there's rather a lot of them now and my memory is not what it used to be either. So yes, there is a time map, blue tacked to the wall.
Is there another genre that you fancy trying your hand at, Jodi?
Yes, and I did mean to talk to you about this. I forgot. Yeah, I rather fancy my hand at a supernatural thriller, actually.
I think you'd be very good at that.
Well, I've got the ideas. I just need to sit at my desk or in bed and get them down. So yeah, I'm going to have a go at that. I think probably in between St Mary's, because I do want to do other things as well. I don't want to finish St Mary's and then start on something else. I'd like the things to run in tandem. I get bored very easily, so let's try something different. Let's do this, let's do that.
Have you been surprised by reader reaction to your books?
I have, yes. I've been absolutely gobsmacked. Right from the word go. The first review for Just One Damn Thing After Another came up less than 24 hours after I put it on Smashwords, and it was 5 stars. And you hear so much about how difficult it is to get established as a writer, how difficult it is to sell your books. Unless you're one of the big names, there's just no chance at all. And I never thought any of this would happen to me. I thought that my book, because there was only one at the time, would just disappear into some sort of Amazon backwater hinterland. My family, if I reminded them, would probably buy it eventually. And that would be it. That really would be it. That was the sum total of my ambition, to just write a book and be able to look at the page on Amazon 30 or 40 times a day. And I never honestly thought that this would happen to me. I am still a bit stunned by it all. And if Amazon did email me and say, "We're ever so sorry, there's been a horrible mistake," I would be very upset, but not completely surprised.
You've had 3 editors, haven't you?
That sounds terrible. Did she kill them off?
Well, writing in isolation is, you know, you can have a zillion ideas, you can be incredibly creative, but having that relationship with an editor that you can bounce backwards and forwards with. It wasn't her fault she had 3 editors, and now you're edited by Rebecca, who's our senior editor. What's that relationship like for you?
It's fine. It's.
But do you find as an author that it's made a difference to your writing, or?
Yes, it has. It's from little things like Rebecca knows how to spell the plural of Willie, which to major plot things. I can email in a panic and say, "Rebecca, can I do this, this and this? Does this make sense to you? Here's a paragraph, have I got this right?" So yes, very supportive, without actually telling me what I can and can't do, because I'm not really very good at that. No. She's very subtle.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you for coming. It was nice to meet you all.